okay, I haven't made any videos defending Vic Mignogna. I haven't talked about Funimation, haven't talked about the Me Too movement. You know, I avoided this sort of thing. You know, I wanted to talk about it, but it wasn't really my kind of style at the time. You know, I don't usually like to make videos like this. It's, you know, making video responses is more my shtick. But, you know, I'm giving this a shot. And, today we're gonna talk about the whole, the judge asking for a meditation, that's what it's called. So, I'm gonna read this article. Anime trolls tried to silence a Me Too campaign with legal threats and got shut down hard. And basically, in a nutshell, this article is basically saying is that, let's see, that as of right now, Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, and the judge, along with a few lawyers, have received death threats and have been doxxed and harassed on Twitter, Facebook, etc. And according to this article, this is one of the tactics that the so-called alt-right trolls are doing to silence victims. And all I have to say is that if there are people out there who are genuinely giving death threats to the likes of Jamie Markey and Monica Rial, it's just not cool, okay? You're basically giving these people ammunition for whatever they're gonna do, because now that you're giving these people ammo, you're only doing more harm than good for Vic Mignogna. I mean, it's just inevitable, but you're only proving these people right by creating this, you know, this campaign where all you do is send death threats after death threats after death threats after death threats. And it's, you know, the left is also guilty from from doing this, but our side has a couple of bad apples. That much I'm willing to admit. And now that they're giving this ammo, they're gonna use it. Let me just read this part right here. It's part of a troubling counterforce to the Me Too movement as abusers realize accusations can be silenced by legal threats. Even if cases are ultimately dismissed, a deep-pocketed plaintiff can drive even the most stalwart defendant to bankruptcy. These abusive suits are known as the strategic lawsuits against public participation, or SLAPP, in the post-Me Too era. They're seeing something of a revival as people are accused of sexual misconduct will defamation suits against their accusers. Bill Cosby famously sued Andrea Costan, whose accusation laid the foundation of his recent criminal trial. Failed Obama Senate candidate Roy Moore went after his accusers, and the threat of litigation was a critical tool in Harvey Weinstein's reign of terror. Frivolous lawsuits are as old as defamation laws, and since the 1980s, some states have tried to curb the problem through the anti-SLAPP law. A well-crafted anti-SLAPP law offers defendants an early exit ramp from a bogus suit by forcing plaintiffs to confront possible defenses earlier in the process. Instead of dragging on for years, anti-SLAPP laws can bring a case to a close in just a few months. And thanks to provision forcing the plaintiff to pay the defendant's legal fees, it can cost the defendant nothing out of pocket. So, right now, the so-called anti-SLAPP laws are being used for the case with Vic Mignogna. And I'm really hoping that Vic Mignogna wins something out of this. Because if Vic Mignogna fails, then this is, you know, a major victory to the Me Too movement. This is, you know, this is going to boast their ego. It's basically sending a message that people can get away with all these accusations, just they can ruin someone's life through mere accusations. They can play this game where, they don't have to suffer any form of consequences. It doesn't matter if their image is tarnished. They can afford that because in the end, they can get away with it. And it's just not right. Oh, man. So, let's see. Unfortunately, efforts in enact a federal anti-slap law has stalled, so protection has the president, blah, 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 blah. So, the pro-Madonna trolls, however, did not fund any human illegal Twitter response. Neither did Beer, who hopped into a YouTube live stream to rail against the lawyers who were mocking him. He asked Madonna supporters to make these people miserable, please, adding that he would consider it a personal favor. The trolls obliged. Let's see. Within 10 minutes, I was doxxed, said the shit. They deliberately posted over a dozen fake reviews on Google to try and torpedo the ratings of my law firm. Colton switched to his Twitter account to private after he was doxxed by Madonna supporters. I always try to have a conversation with everyone who @s me on Twitter, and there was just no way to do that with my mentions drowning in bad alt-right insults. I made a tiny comment on a tiny aspect of a case last night, and I regret it, said another lawyer. I heard of the case, but had no idea what I was getting myself into. This is possibly one of the biggest cases in the history of America. We're dealing with such, crazy people these days. Such absolute monsters. So, I'm not gonna read the entire thing. Just gonna read right here. But while legal protections could stop the defamation claims cold, they couldn't do much about the harassment, which only got more intense after the judge dismissed most of the claims. When everything was dismissed, suddenly they were now okay with the court deciding, Markey says, and we had several threats saying that justice is down a barrel of a gun. And of course of course justice is down the barrel of a gun because, and when I first heard about this, I wasn't really surprised because, people's lives could be easily ruined by just simple accusations, and we rarely have a fair trial. If, like I said, if Vic Mignogna loses, then we all lose. The Me Too movement has everyone by the balls. We could it's a good chance that men are going to be more afraid of walking up to a woman and saying hello before they start screeching out rape. Mignogna fans have resorted to brigading the preceding judge Facebook page, which has been inactive for almost a decade, and sending threatening emails to the court. Judge Chupp is a brain-dead moron, and I sincerely hope that someone accuses him of rape. Read one email presented by a local police. When people start uprising sick, I hope your court is the first thing targeted. Naturally, the defense lawyers have been popular targets. Duchette had his Twitter account restricted after experiencing a second coordinated reporting campaign in as many weeks. Meanwhile, White continues to do battle with Mignogna trolls on Twitter. They're packed of bigoted subhuman, basically, said White, referring to message board trolls. You can quote me on that. So, it's absolutely strange that we're only seeing one side of the story, because we have people like Esgami, having their accounts being flagged, with copyright claims, and his video that's been struck down was about DC Douglas exposing. The title of the video is called DC Douglas Exposed Backpedals Kick Vic Losing Members. And I don't know the whole story with DC Douglas, but as far as I'm concerned, DC Douglas supports Kick Vic, and when he's caught lying, he's losing supporters and blah 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 blah. But for months now, we have YouTubers who've been, exposing Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, and everyone in Funimation, and of course the entire Kick Vic movement. Not just Kick Vic, but I'm like Me Too in general. Just the entire Me Too movement. It's absolutely garbage. And people like Sagami. I don't know why he called himself that. Maybe it's called SG Sammy. Just subscribe to his content. He makes a few videos defending Vic, covering Funimation. Just typically what the likes of That Umbrella Guy and Yellow Flash, that's what he does. Pretty much the same thing. Sometimes he makes reaction videos. Just subscribe to this guy, okay? And I'm pretty sure that there's always two sides of the story. So that's about it. I'm sorry that this isn't exactly the most exciting video that you're watching, but get used to it. It's because I'm gonna do a lot more. I'm the Atheist Gamer, and keep gaming on.